Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by. Welcome to TRxADE Health's first quarter 2022 earnings conference call. During today's presentation, all parties will be in a listen-only mode. Following the presentation, the conference will be opened for questions. The earnings press release accompanying this conference call was issued at the close of the market today. The quarterly report, which includes additional information regarding the company's results of operations for the quarter ended March 31, 2022, was filed with the SEC earlier today. On our call today is TRxADE Health's founder, chairman, and chief executive officer, Suren Ajjarapu, and Janet Huffman, its chief financial officer. The replay of this call and webcast will be available for the next 30 days on the company's website under the NASDAQ Meds link. The company's website also includes more supporting industry information. At this time, I'd like to turn the call over to Janet Huffman, the company's chief financial officer. Janet, the floor is yours.
Thank you, operator, and thank you for joining us today. I'd like to welcome you to our 2022 first quarter financial results conference call. Our press release announcing our 2022 first quarter financial results was issued after the close of market today and is posted on our website. We have also furnished such press release to the SEC on Form 8-K. Statements made on this call and webcast include forward-looking statements. These statements include, but are not limited to, our outlook for the company and statements that estimate or project future results of operations or the performance of the company, including the potential continued impact of COVID-19 on the company's business and results of operations. These statements speak only as of the date hereof, and the company assumes no obligation, except as required by law, to revise any forward-looking statements that may be made in today's press release, call, or webcast. These statements do not guarantee future performance and are subject to risks, uncertainties, and assumptions. Please refer to the press release and the risk factors and documents we file with the Securities and Exchange Commission, including our most recent quarterly report on Form 10-Q and any subsequently filed periodic report or current report on Form 8-K, for information on risks, uncertainties, and assumptions that may cause actual results to differ materially from those set forth in such statements. In addition, during today's call and webcast, we will discuss non-GAAP financial measures, which we believe are useful as supplemental measures of TRxADE's performance. These non-GAAP measures should be considered in addition to and not as a substitute for or in isolation from GAAP results. You can find additional disclosures regarding these non-GAAP measures, including reconciliations with comparable GAAP results, at the end of our earnings press release. Unless otherwise stated, all financial comparisons in this call will be to our results for the comparable period of fiscal 2021. During the question and answer portion of today's call, please limit yourself to no more than one question and one follow-up. At this time, I'd like to turn the call over to Suren Ajjarapu, the company's Chief Executive Officer. Suren, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Janet. We saw revenue improvement in our first quarter results for 2022, and our revenue base continues to return to the core TRxADE pharmaceutical exchange platform and away from the one-time personal protective equipment sales driven by the initial onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our nationwide footprint continues to grow as we relentlessly focus on exciting new ways to expand proportional wallet share within our large growing network of registered users, while better enabling them to service their respective customers, the end users, further growing their loyalty to their local retail pharmacy. Before we do a more detailed walkthrough of financial and operational results of the 2022 first quarter, for those of you who are new to the company, I would like to walk you through who we are and how we are digitalizing the retail pharmacy experience to the optimization of drug procurement the prescription journey, and patient engagement. Prior to the launch of TRxADE, obtaining drug codes as an independent pharmacy was an extremely laborious and time-inefficient process with no insight or transparency into a fair market price or what others are paying for the same drug. Traditional wholesalers would provide unfavorable payment terms, slow delivery, and create a difficult conundrum for the approximately 19,400 independent pharmacies nationwide. We identified this market inefficiency as well as the incredible potential in these independent pharmacies, which together maintain an estimated approximately $67.1 billion in annual purchasing power, and proceeded to launch TRxADE. We design, own, and operate a business-to-business web-based market platform, bringing together the nation's independent pharmacies with an accredited national pharmaceutical suppliers to provide a uniquely efficient and transparent buying and selling process. Our platform lets independent pharmacies know that they are receiving a fair price from competing suppliers and a fair payment terms, and often with next-day delivery. We believe this radical price transparency, economy of scale, and competition among suppliers leads up to a 10% reduction in pharmacies' total annual drug purchase costs, with a drug level savings of up to 90% on certain pharmaceutical products. Our platform saves pharmacists from having to manually compare prices across distributors, saving hundreds of hours of unnecessary labor annually and eliminating negative reimbursement or fulfilling a prescription at a loss. Our revenue model is simple. We pay an administrative fee of up to 6% of the buying prices of the generic pharmaceuticals and up to 1% on the brand pharmaceuticals that pass through our pharmaceutical platform, similar to PayPal or Visa-like model. Today, we have seen incredible success in garnering attention from independent pharmacies nationwide, validating our business model. We currently have over 13,400 plus registered members on our platform, with approximately 340 new registered members added to the first quarter of 2022, compared to 223 in the first quarter of 2021. Another exciting growth metric on our TRxADE platform includes a 25% increase in sales volume processed across our platform in the first quarter of 2022 compared to the same quarter in 2021. TRxADE Prime has also experienced exciting growth in the first quarter of 2022. Comparing the first quarter of 2022 to 2021 reflects an increase in the number of orders processed by approximately 300%, and units sold increased over 500%. We expect this growth to continue in 2022 as we expand our customer base to medical facilities and into the veterinary industry. In February 2022, the company announced a new venture with Exchange Health LLC, SOSRx LLC, a pharmaceutical market platform. This new venture, SOSRx, is an exciting addition to the TRxADE and provides additional availability to short-dated overstock that would otherwise be subjected to destruction. Our SOSRx marketplace brings the manufacturers and wholesalers together, providing an efficient and transparent buying and selling process. The TRxADE and SOSRx marketplaces deliver radical price transparency, economy of scale, competition that benefit the independent pharmacies and wholesalers while expanding the selling potential for such market participants. We believe the TRxADE and SOSRx platforms provide the opportunity to deliver more affordable prescription costs for consumers. TRxADE anticipates growth in this joint venture in 2022 as more progressive manufacturers are expected to address the public need for enhanced medication accessibility and reliable supply of cost-effective pharmaceuticals. In the cocktail market front, we continue to be proactive. I presented at the Maxim Virtual Growth Conference on the panel Technology Improving Healthcare held on March 30th. I will also be attending LD Micro Invitational, which will be held June 7th through June 9th. We attended these conferences with the goal of enhancing broader investor awareness of our company. Now I'd like to turn the call over to our Chief Financial Officer, Janet Hoffman, to walk through some key financial strengths from the first quarter of 2022.
Thank you, Suren. Let us discuss the first quarter 2022 results. Revenues for the first quarter of 2022 increased 6% to $3.2 million, compared to revenue of $3.1 million in the same quarter last year. The increase in revenue was primarily due to revenue generated by the TRxADE platform and TRxADE Prime. Gross profit in the first quarter of 2022 decreased 3% to $1.3 million, or 41.2% of revenues, compared to $1.4 million, or 45.3% of revenues in the same quarter last year. The decrease in gross profit is a result of Integra Pharma Solutions, or TRxADE Prime. Operating expenses in the first quarter of 2022 were $2.3 million, compared to $2 million in the same quarter last year. This increase was due primarily to increased salary and wages and legal expenses in the first quarter of 2022. Net loss in the first quarter of 2022 was $1 million, or 0.12 per basic and diluted share outstanding, compared to $0.7 million, or 0.08 per basic and diluted share outstanding for the same quarter in 2021. Adjusted Ebitda, a non-GAAP financial measure, decreased to negative $0.7 million, compared to negative $0.5 million in the same quarter last year. Looking at our balance sheet, cash and cash equivalents were $1.9 million as of March 31st, 2022, compared with $3.1 million as of December 31st, 2021. The decrease in cash was primarily due to our IT initiatives, investment in our new venture with SOSRx, increased salaries and wages, and increased legal expenses for the first quarter of 2022. With that, I will turn the call back to Suren for closing remarks.
Thank you, Janet. In summary, we're focusing on exciting new strategic partnerships to drive forward our core business while diversifying our revenue base. Taken as a whole, I think we are building an incredible, compelling healthcare ecosystem, allowing consumers access to an affordable healthcare while building an exciting value proposition for all stakeholders. I look forward to seeing what the future holds as we continue our rapid pace of operational execution, creating sustainable long-term value for my fellow shareholders. With that, I'll turn it over to the operator to begin the question and answer session. Operator.
Thank you, sir. We will now begin the question and answer session. As a reminder, if you have a question, please press star followed by the 1 on your touch-tone phone. If you would like to withdraw your question, press the star followed by the 2, and if you're using speaker equipment, you will need to lift the handset before making your selection. One moment, please. Your first question comes from the line of Howard Halpern with Taglich Brothers. Please proceed with your question.
Congratulations on the quarter. Top-line results look good. My question is in regards to, I guess, both the TRxADE and the Integra or the Prime offering. Do you see sequential growth occurring from this point forward in those two segments?
Thank you, Howard, first of all. Yes, that's what our aim, and we continue to see both TRxADE. I think this is the first time we've released our earnings and given you the volume increase on our platform and the number of orders and number of buyers on our TRxADE Prime. Those metrics we will continue to provide going forward. So I think you see in our new press release of those metrics also.
And my follow-up would be, is there a way now that you're starting to gain, volume and traction with customers in the Prime offering, is there a way to maybe improve gross profit margins in that segment?
That's our goal, but as you're aware, some of the TRxADE Prime, the shipping costs are a little bit higher because of, every industry is affected by the inflation. So we may see
Right.
that. Probably we cannot comment on that, but that's all our anticipation is increasing that gross profit, and probably towards the third quarter or fourth quarter, how the economy behaves in inflation and the transportation costs. I'll be able to give you more definitive answer on that.
Okay, so for right now, low 40s to mid 40s in gross margin is a safe bet going forward until things sort of normalize in the economy.
Yes.
Okay, I'll jump back in the queue.
Thank you.
As a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. One moment, please. Your next question comes from line of Alan Klee with Maxim Group. Please proceed with your question.
Yes, hi. So for the venture with Exchange Health, SOSRX, help us understand when we're going to see how we should expect when the contribution from that could be material in 2022.
Sure. Thanks, Alan. Yeah, we just started that in February. We may not see towards the end of the year or beginning of the next quarter of the impact because, as I mentioned, it's a technology platform. We got to educate both manufacturers and wholesalers or a big box chain, kind of a grocery chains and stuff like that. So we're continues to create the adoption for our technology, but probably towards the end of this year or beginning of next year, we'll see the results.
Great. And then kind of the same question on Bonum Health and group purchasing organizations.
Yeah, we still get to see some of the traction, and we continue to pound on those group purchase organizations. The product availability is the key for them to jump into the marketplace, as you're aware, because they want to buy 100% through us. We may see that the results coming towards the third quarter and fourth quarter.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your next question comes from Robert Smith with the Center of Performance Investing. Please proceed with your question.
Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call. My question is, so first, can you give me an idea with the continuing losses and diminishing cash, how you would think about financing your growth strategies?
Thanks, Robert. Yeah, we continue to operate as far as the new technology investment that we're doing. Probably we look for, as I mentioned, the growth towards our existing platform will support our new initiatives.
Yeah, but your cash position continues to decline. So, what are your strategies for financing the growth of the business and running continuing losses? I mean, where are you going to get that capital from?
I think we have an existing capital base that will sustain us to going forward. So we keep looking at other avenues at this time. But right now, we're not looking to do any capital raise.
Your next question is a follow-up from Howard Halpern with Taglich Brothers. Please proceed with your question.
Just I noticed when I was looking at the queue that revenue in the specialty pharmacy area dipped a little bit. Was that just a one-time event, or was there an event that caused that to happen, and it's going to rebound back to back to normalcy? Because you've been sort of flat normally going in and around that, and this time it dipped a little bit.
Yeah, going forward, as I mentioned, our focus is primarily for our marketplace and then TRxADE Prime. The reason for that reduction, maybe it's the first quarter in the last month of the March, it's a one-time dip. I don't see it's pretty much it's a flat, but it's 100% TRxADE Health is focusing on the platform marketplace, both on the existing wholesaler to pharmacy and going forward also the manufacturers to the wholesale. Both will be our marketplaces will be the highest priority for us.
And one just follow up from that. Do you, with the focus now, what you've talked about, the TRxADE platform, are operating expenses, where are they going to normalize down to? Around that $2 million area or a little bit less than that going forward? Are you able to make that adjustment?
I think as we all see the salary increases, wages increases to keep that sustainability to meet the existing inflation effect on our employee salaries and stuff. So I think that's normalization is around $2 million range.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the question and answer session, and I'd like to turn the call back to Mr. Shirin Ajarapu for closing remarks.
Thank you, operator. I would also like to thank all of you for joining our earnings call today. We look forward to continuing to update you on our ongoing progress and growth. If we were unable to answer any of your questions, please reach out to our IR department, who would be more than happy to assist. For any of you who may have joined the call in progress, remember that replay of this call and webcast will be available for the next 30 days on the company's website under the NASDAQ MEDS link, and that more information regarding the financial information and disclosed on this call and webcast, including reconciliation of our non-GAAP financial information, can be found in our press release, which we filed after the close of the market today. Thank you all.
This concludes today's conference. You may disconnect your lines at this time. Thank you all for your participation.